Want to know some of the biggest mistakes we've made when it comes to budgeting?
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to another episode of His and Her Money. I'm Talib.
And I'm Ty, and we're managing money, marriage, and everything in between.
And today is no different, guys. We know that it's a brand new year and everybody's focused and dialed in and ready to start this whole budgeting process because we all want to do better with our money, right? And budgeting is not easy, but it's necessary. It's a necessary, integral part of getting out of debt and being wise stewards of the money that God has given you.
And I must say, before you become great at setting a budget and creating a budget, you're going to have some mistakes. You're going to have some hiccups along the way. So we wanted to come today to show you guys, or to tell you rather, our 10 biggest mistakes that we've made when it came to setting and implementing a budget. So let's get started.
So the biggest mistake we made was there was a time in our marriage where we didn't even have a budget.
True.
As smart as we thought we were when it comes to personal finances, we were just kind of operating, without a plan, without a roadmap. And I think that's the biggest mistake that you can make, especially with this being a new year. It's 2015 now. We don't want you to bring any old habits into the new year. If you are, like we were, without a monthly budget, let that stop today. You have to set a budget. We wrote an article on our website, hisandhermoney.com, called the top free, F-R-E-E, budgeting resources, okay? It's there on our website if you go to it right now. So there's no excuse. It's not like you have to pay. It's not like it has to be time consuming. We've got some resources there for you that are free and that'll help you streamline the process.
So we'll link it below as well.
So do not be like us and operate any longer without having a budget.
True. All right, well, the second mistake that we've made was not both of us being involved.
Yeah.
In the beginning of our marriage, we told you guys our story, our debt-free story. If you have not watched that, we have that video on our channel as well, too. We'll link it below. But in that video, we explained how, Talib was not great with handling money.
Yeah, I was learning. I was, growing in the process. But, at the point where we got married, you were the resident expert.
Right.
And so our plan was, hey, you just do it.
Right.
Since you know money, you have a finance degree, you work in finance, why don't you just do the budget?
And you know what? I remember that moment. I remember you saying to me, you know what? Whatever you've been doing obviously has been working, so you go ahead and I'm going to surrender to that.
And that sounds like a good idea, right?
Right. And I was like, well, okay. And I didn't have a problem because I had a desire to make sure that we got out of debt, and that we lived this debt-free journey, this debt-free life. So I was on board until, we must say until it started to become so much pressure. It's very difficult when you have one particular person handling the budget because you will, be looked at as the bad guy. There were many times in our marriage that I felt like you blamed me for you not having enough money to go have fun and to buy food or go to the gas station, buy whatever you want, whatever. And it was very frustrating for me. And on your part, it was frustrating because you felt like I was telling you what to do.
Right. I wasn't involved. Although on the surface it sounded like a great idea. My wife is smarter when it comes to money. Let me just let her do everything. But what happened was it felt like I was just being handed a plan and not really having a part in it. So it is smart. It is wise to have the one that's better with money take the lead, but not be the only one involved. You both have to be involved in the process, whether the one who's better with the money might be the one that kind of creates and shifts the numbers and lines everything up, but then that person has to then turn around and turn to the other party and explain the plan and get input from the other party so that both of you all are involved in the creation of the budget. So our next mistake is that we've made before is not being consistent. So budgeting this month, but not creating a budget for next month. And really that throws you off your game. The journey to financial freedom is a journey of consistency. You have to be able to stay on top of your game throughout the duration. This should be a regular habit of yours. Budgeting cannot be something you do here and there. It has to be every single month, and you cannot stop. You have to be consistent because if you're not, your results will not be consistent either.
Just like they say, it takes 21 days to create a habit and to get used to it and to, follow through with it. The same thing with your budget. You have to make sure that you stay consistent. The more you do it, the more it will be like second nature to you, and that if you don't have a budget, it doesn't feel right. You're like, oh, wait a minute, something's not right here. It won't quite feel right, So you want to be consistent. Our next mistake that we made was not, planning a budget or creating a budget before the month actually began. Sometimes life gets so busy, so hectic, and the first is here of the month, and we had no budget, and by like day 10, we're like, oh, wait a minute, let's do our budget. We didn't do our budget for this month.
Right.
And that threw everything off course.
Because you know what? Life doesn't get less busy.
That's so true. That is so true.
So set
Never a perfect time.
Set a day in stone. We all got smartphones now. Go and set the last day of the month on both of your phones as the budget meeting day.
That's right. Well, we use Google Calendar. And what's nice about Google Calendar, both parties can see the schedule. You can view it, like you said, on your phone. If we're on the computer, we can see it. And what I love about it, it sends a notification. Like 30 minutes, you can set an alert to tell you 30 minutes or a day before it's supposed to be due, hey, it's time to do your budget. So that's really nice, too.
Yeah, another big mistake we made was not involving cash in our budget. We were good about using the debit card, but man, those transactions would get out of hand. Like,
oh my God,
trying to say, okay, what was that? What was that?
This was gas. This was eating out. And this was, which one was
this was
fun
Thursday.
money?
This was Tuesday. Because, when you swipe,
Oh.
It doesn't necessarily post to your account that
Exactly.
day. It might post 3 days later. She's like, wait a minute, I didn't go to McDonald's today.
Right.
Like, no, that was 3 days ago. And so by us not using cash envelopes and just trying to swipe our whole monthly budget, it just threw things in a flux. So we highly suggest that you incorporate using cash. If you can't use cash for the entire budget, allocate some of the categories, like maybe maintenance of your hair or things of that nature, groceries. Some of your budget can be done in cash, if not all of it.
Right. So what we do is, before the month begins, I make a trip to the bank and I count the actual weeks of that month. So I know that you get your hair cut every single week. So let's say there are 4 weeks or 5 weeks in 1 month. I then make sure that I take that money out ahead of time. Once you get your paycheck, or once we get our paycheck, and I take it out ahead of time, and we keep that cash, here at home in an envelope. Those, what do you call those? Those accordion poly envelope type things. You can get them for $1 from the Dollar Tree or from Target at the one spot. Keep your cash in there, and that's what we do. Such as we use haircut, our fun money, entertainment, grocery, and sometimes kids. Like if the kids have something that we know that they have to do, we'll pull that cash out ahead of time as well too. And that'll lead to our next mistake. And our next mistake that we found was we were using one account for everything, and it made things so difficult. As we mentioned, with the debit card, all these different transactions coming out, guys, it was so hard to keep up with our budget. So that's when we decided to incorporate multiple accounts. And if you guys have not watched our video, why we have 13 bank accounts, you definitely want to check it out. We'll leave the link below. But we have 13 bank accounts, and let me tell you guys, it has helped us streamline and keep things so consistent, and it has helped us keep our budget on pace, and we love it.
Yeah. And another big mistake we made was not staying the course when it comes to the planned amount that we had in each category. So we might have allocated 400 in groceries and 100 in entertainment, but if we get close to the end of the month and all of our entertainment money was gone, but there was some money left in a grocery, we can use that to flip over to this other category.
Right.
No, you make a plan before the month begins, and you need to stick to it. If there's money left over in a particular category, guess what, guys? That's for your debt. That's for your savings.
That's right.
It's not for you to move and shift over to another category in your budget.
That's right. Our next mistake was not staying on top of updates. That is so important. Now, with both of us using debit cards and all the charges were coming through our bank account and things like that, it was very difficult for us to keep up with updates.
Yeah.
So it's important that when you come home every single night, gather up your receipts if you made any purchases and you want to update your budgeting software, whichever one that you're using. So that's what we do. Every single day, we pull up either our accounts or bring in our receipts, and we make sure that we put in any of our purchases in the correct categories. This helps us stay on top, so therefore we have a running total or a month-to-date total, so we know where we're at during that month in regards to staying in budget or not.
Yeah, I think using online software, like some of the free ones that are in that article that we talked about, will help. I mean, it's easy to just go log in and input the information. So it's not like it has to be a tedious process.
As well as too, some software such as like your Mint.com, they pull your transactions for you from your bank accounts and they put them in the correct categories. Now, you do want to make sure that you do a second glance that you look over the transactions and make sure that they're in the proper category. But for the most part, they're pretty good at it. So, and it kind of takes the work out of your hands.
Another mistake we made was budgeting either too much for a particular category or not enough. And you have to be able to be realistic with your budget. If you're not sure how much to put in each category, oftentimes we tell people before you even start a budget, spend 30 days and write down all of your transactions.
So
Therefore,
you
come up with a baseline of information of how much you spend in each particular category. So just be realistic. When you all sit down together and you're formulating the budget, be realistic about the numbers. Don't overinflate it and don't undercut it. Make sure that your numbers are realistic in each category.
And I just want to make mention too that it's so easy to calculate how much you need. Such as one area, guys, that we probably put a little bit too much in the budget is when it comes to food. We could speak, that's either dining out or even your groceries. Usually you can cut that down quite a bit, if not 10 or 20% of what your actual, but what you actually budgeted for. Because you can use coupons now, guys. You can do buy one, get ones. There's so many different things that you can do to cut down costs, especially even toiletries. There's no reason in the world why you need to allocate $100 towards toiletries. At least that's my opinion. Maybe you're talking to a couponer. I don't know. But there's so many deals now, at your Walgreens and your CVS where you can get free body washes or almost free, under $1. Or use the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree has great products there as well too. So guys, definitely, sometimes we're budgeting too much, so you want to kind of be careful of that. Sometimes we're not budgeting enough. Right. And then our next biggest mistake that we made. Our last one is not planning ahead for large purchases or certain repairs. Most times, if there's a situation with one of the vehicles, maybe we need brakes and things like that.
It could be something as simple as oil changes you didn't account for.
It's true.
You didn't forward think enough to think, oh, you know what? I got an oil change due this month. And little things, incidental things that you don't take the time to kind of think ahead can throw your whole budget off.
So true. And we used to do that in the beginning of our marriage. It was kind of like, whenever we needed an oil change, it was like, oh, I need an oil change today. Well, we didn't put that in the budget. Now we're being proactive. So when we sit down before the month, comes in, we say, okay, are there any major repairs or major purchases that we need to purchase?
Or does somebody have a birthday this month?
Exactly.
Well, we have to buy a birthday gift. Or we'll have to go and eat out if we're taking somebody out for dinner for their birthday. So think ahead.
Exactly. So true. That is so true. So now we do that. If there's any work that needs to be done on the vehicles, we either say if this month is not a good month, we'll say, okay, we'll plan that for the following month. And that kind of helps us budget, correctly and properly. So guys, we hope that our mistakes will not become your mistakes, and we hope that it helps you out and that you guys will, take from our mistakes and learn from them and do better than we did. So guys, just keep in mind that this is not perfect, that you won't be perfect. This is not a perfect formula on how to do a budget. You will learn. The more you do it, you kind of tweak it to your liking and you'll get great at it.
I can promise you this one thing. You're not going to get it right the first time.
You're sure not.
You're going to make mistakes, and all you have to do, you got to come back together and say, yeah, we didn't get it right this time. But what you cannot do is give up.
That's true.
You can't give up on the budgeting process just because you didn't get it right the first time, because we're telling you, you're not going to get it right on the first time. Mm-hmm. But if you give up, then you lost.
And also, too, guys, it's important that you also take breaks in between your budget. What I mean by that, like breakout sessions. So it's important that we sit down sometimes and we kind of go over our month. How are we looking for this month? My husband does that very well. How are we looking, Ty, this month? Okay, well, let's sit down and let's go over it. So that's important as well, too. Don't just let the full 30 days go by and you didn't look at your budget at all. All you did was input your transactions.
There should be ongoing discussions throughout the month.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, we hope this helped you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Share this video with a family member or friend. Share it on your Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. Guys, we are loving all of the love that you guys are showing us. Don't forget, also leave a comment below letting us know some of your budgeting mistakes.
What mistakes have you made?
Yes,
let us know. We just put all our business out there.
How
about you?
Know. You can help so many people as well as ourselves. So, guys, don't forget to visit us over at our website at hisandhermoney.com. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.